What's going on, guys? Oh, soaking. I think we could give him a butt kick. Got some V-neck sunburn going on. Some donuts on my shoulders from some cupping. So it's been a pretty strange start to the week already. It's a little frustrated yesterday because I don't know, it was something to my leg. Back in 2016, I tore my vastus medialis, which is basically your teardrop on my left leg, and it was my first tear style injury ever, and it healed. You know, I've done plenty of exercises since, never had any issues. And I was actually leg pressing, you know, not heavy, but not like, you know, we're not talking like, you know, 1,000+ pounds or anything like that, you know. And I just felt something rip, you know, just, it made kind of like a weird noise, you know, kind of like a, like, and instant pain, you know. So I set the weight with one leg, my right leg basically, and proceeded to kind of just like walk around for a couple minutes to see how I was gonna feel, and I did end up finishing up my hamstrings because I had enough gusto left to do that. And then I did some bike, which was kind of uncomfortable, but it wasn't terrible. So today the bike sucked. I actually went in and did a shoulder workout, and the bike was really bothering my left knee, so I decided to go home and then go for my walk. So I don't know, man. It's just been, I don't know if I'm just, you know, dreading my daughter going to college. I don't know what's going on, but, you know, it's, I don't want to sit here and feel like every time I make one of these videos I'm negative and down and frustrated, but lately that's just been where I'm at. You know, I don't have a lot of positive mindset. You know, I'm trying to be as positive as possible and trying to just stay focused and continue working, which I have. None of that's been altered. I've been training every day. Everything's been good. It just, life around me is difficult right now, you know. And you know, kind of like, can't really talk about a lot of things publicly because, you know, it's just not the right thing to do. Just frustrating. You know, just trying to stay focused and do what I need to do, and yeah, that's about it. It's official. Car is loaded down. About to get on the road to take my munchkin. Well, it's not so munchkin anymore. Off to college. Bittersweet. What's going on, guys? I am recording while driving, but it is a phone mount, and I am not touching it, nor will I be looking at it very often. So don't get mad at me. On my way to the gym. Today is just gonna be a nice pump back and bicep session. Nothing crazy, just trying to get back just after a break yesterday. You know, from my earlier video this week, I did something to my knee / vastus medialis on Friday. I'm stuck. I have to go around the other way. Yeah, I did something to my, I tore my vastus medialis, which is your teardrop. essentially, on my left leg back in 2016. And although it healed, it never actually came back completely. So what I mean by that is that I never actually saw. I posted a Throwback Thursday picture on my IG story today, saying back when I had, big legs, and, my quads were over 30 inches. At one point they were almost 36, but they were 32 in that picture. And that was even with, you can see the difference even without being shredded. That I actually had some teardrop definition on my right leg, and on my left leg, it was virtually non-existent, but my sweep was way more noticeable in my left leg versus my right leg. And I think a lot of that just had to do with, in training, I was, putting a lot more pressure on the outside muscles of the quad versus the teardrop, because it just wasn't firing, which is one of the reasons why it wasn't actually growing. And I think, ultimately what happened is it hasn't been firing for so long, and I haven't realized it, or not realized it, but I haven't actually been training, so it wasn't a concern. But when I went out to Tampa and actually hit MI40, and Chris threw me up on the newbie and actually put me through a therapy session on the newbie, I really started to feel like the teardrop was firing again. And I think what happened, ultimately, is that it hasn't been firing for so long that I think I overloaded it, not even realizing it. Just because I really wasn't doing a whole heck of a lot. I was doing, leg press with probably, I want to say, I think I had like 8 plates on each side, 16 plates, which sounds like a lot to some people, but it's not for me. I mean, that's a 20-25 rep set easily for me, even with my legs being as far behind as they are. So, and I had worked my way up to that and had warmed up and done leg extensions, and that was probably my 6th or 7th set on leg press. So I wasn't expecting what happened to happen at all. But thankfully, there's no bruising or anything like that. It's still sore. So I think, if anything, I probably just strained it. I didn't actually tear anything or do any significant damage. And I went home and immediately did some cupping therapy myself, and definitely saw those of you that aren't well versed in kind of what cupping does is it draws contaminants from the blood and from like stagnant muscle tissue to the surface, so that they can be absorbed by the lymphatic system and got out of the body, disposed of out of the body through urine. And typically, if you have an area where there is minimal static, or minimal stagnant tissue or minimal contaminants, you won't see like a cupping bruise, they call it, where you get like those round circles on you. You might see a very faint one, might be pink, it might be minimal, but whenever you have a dark purple or like just super bright, circle left after a cupping session, that typically means that you had a lot of contaminants in your blood. The tissue was very stagnant, hadn't been firing or functioning properly for a while. And I still have, even it's Thursday, and I still have a significantly dark purple circle on my vastus medialis on my leg. So I won't be training it again until that goes away. And I also did my shoulders the other day and had 2 huge purple cupping marks left on the top back here, which, shoulders for the past couple of years have been a constant source of pain and mobility issues for me. So I've started doing that as well. But anyway, going in today, back in biceps, positive mindset. I'm really feeling good about this. I'm not down in the dumps or anything. And the last few days, I just try to focus on having an attitude of gratitude and being, appreciative of life and what's going on. And just to make mention of it, today is the 2-year anniversary of Dallas McCarver's passing. So I just wanted to, put it out there and just say, just give my thoughts and prayers to, everyone, and just know that we're thinking about you today. And it's still a crappy situation 2 years later, but hopefully there's weights to be lifted in heaven. So hope you guys have a great day, and talk to you later. What's going on, guys? I realize that this is a little bit dark. I tried to light up the video a little bit, but it's dark. I just wanted to throw a finale on this week's episode, talk a little bit about just mental health. I had a buddy of mine post something, actually reach out to me about going through some anxiety and depression stuff, and I kind of wanted to put this out there because it's not unmanly, it's not wussy, it's not soft to ask for help. And I wish more people, more guys especially, were strong enough to reach out and ask for help, because we've lost too many good people because they just rather keep things bottled up inside and not talk about them, and that is tough. I lost a good friend of mine on New Year's this year. Derek gone through a really tough divorce and going through a lot of personal stuff in the background, but in front of everybody he seemed happy, he seemed smiling. Just like a couple days before he took his own life, he was at a football game and was posting about how much he was enjoying it, and it was a Rams game. And it's just crazy to think of what we bottle up and what we choose to try to control and hold on to and not share with people and not talk about. It's just like a ticking time bomb. It's like just continuing to jam gunpowder into the barrel of a gun and not expecting it to blow up in your face. And it just, I cannot stress this enough, that guys need outlet. They need someone they can vent to. They need time. They need personal space. They need love. They need to be shown appreciation. They need to be respected. There's a lot of things about, women, of course, need the same things, but there's a reason why the men's suicide rate is so much higher. And guys tend to think we have to be tough and we have to be this, masculine man that, nothing bothers me. I don't ever shed a tear. I don't ever get frustrated or angry. I'm just me, and I'm big and strong and tough. And, at the end of the day, we are. It's a very different thing to look somebody in their eyes in a situation where you have to defend yourself and knock somebody on their butt than it is to be alone in a room with your thoughts just taking over you and not knowing what to do and thinking the only way out is to take your own life. A lot of people think that taking your own life comes from a place of selfishness, and I don't disagree from the extent of what those you love go through, but I do disagree in terms of the thoughts that the person is having. Nobody takes their own life because they feel like it's the easy way out. It takes an awful lot for someone to make that final decision and say, this is it, I'm doing it. And a lot of it has to do with feeling like they're taking a burden off of others. And I know that sounds contradictory and it sounds stupid, but it's the truth. I've been in situations where I've had thoughts and I've considered options and things like that in the past, and it's never been about selfishness. It's never been about, it's going to be easier for me. No, it's you're looking around at the people whose lives you feel like you're making more difficult, or you're ruining, your family, your kids, your wife, whatever the case may be, girlfriend, fiance, whatever, mom and dad, whatever. And you have this internal demon that makes you feel like you're hurting them, like you're causing them pain, like you are creating issues for them, and you feel like the only way to release them is to not be here anymore. So I encourage you guys, please, if you're dealing with depression, anxiety, frustration, if you're having suicidal thoughts, if you're going through any of this stuff, please, please, please reach out. Find somebody that you can talk to. I'm always here, man. I will jump on a phone call with somebody so fast and just let them vent and tell me about what's going on, and be there for them, and just be a shoulder for them to cry on, an ear for them to listen to, or an ear to listen to them speak. So please don't hesitate to reach out. Mental health, especially for men, is so important, and we have to be there for each other. Thanks, guys.